So it's a very common phrase that is used in across the country. In fact, it's not about tier one, tier two, anything like that. It's about chalo hi hello karte hain. You know, so we wanted to keep it colloquial. We
Hmm.
wanted to keep it language agnostic in the sense
Hmm.
anybody and everybody in any language will understand, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Not just English speaking people. It can also be used abroad. It can be used in India. It can be used in Madhubani district of Bihar to Tirunelveli and Tuticorin. So anybody and everybody can understand that phrase, that word, right? So we wanted to keep it colloquial, simple, language agnostic, and it's a very commonly used phrase. So I said, why not?
Yes. Hi, Sham. It's such a joy to have you on Confab.
Hi, Monica. Thanks for having me. I'm really looking forward to having a chat with you.
Lovely. So, Sham, could you tell me something about yourself, your journey as a marketer, and why did you start something like a dating app for Bharat?
Yeah, why I started a dating app, stroke friendship app for Bharat is because there is a huge population out there that currently has no access to a tech solution when it comes to relationships, right?
Okay.
Because majority of the dating apps in the country are English first, and they're all targeting metros
Hmm.
or people with high incomes, right?
Hmm.
Because the average subscription price is around 500 rupees per month, right? So,
Okay.
in my varied professional experience, I've worked with companies like the Times Group, Mirchi. I worked with Book My Show. I worked with a plant-based nutrition company called Oziva. In my varied professional experience, I've realized that in India, if you are selling anything that is more than 500 rupees per month, you're only catering to 20-25 million people,
Understood.
right? And because that is the audience
Hmm.
that is driving the whole consumer economy in this country, right? Everybody else is extremely price conscious. Yes, there is
Right.
volumes, but it's
Hmm.
extremely price conscious, right? So all and it becomes even more tougher for a dating app because see, dating apps as opposed to OTT platforms, like if you subscribe for Netflix, every month you have to resubscribe, right? You have to
Right.
recharge,
Right.
right? Whereas dating apps is not that. It is completely in your state of mind.
Hmm.
So you may have a monthly subscription. You may not want to do it a month later.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
so imagine you have a pool of 20-25 million people. You have the OGs like the Tinders and the Bumbles, etc., the OK Cupids and so on and so forth. And
Hmm.
on top of that, you have these not so monthly subscriptions, right? So the pool becomes even shorter.
Hmm. Hmm.
And that's the reason why dating apps, which launched, I think, in India in 2014 onwards, they've never been really able to scale. Because they're
Okay.
catering only to the upper demographic of a metro city. When I say metro, I'm talking about 10 cities, and I would
Right.
label them as India because they're English speaking. They like Manchester United. Their favorite TV show is Friends. So on and so forth, right?
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
But there is another world out there. I think 2016 September should be considered as a pivotal moment in India because that's when Geo launched, right?
Agreed.
And I
Right.
think it completely changed the contours of what India and what Bharat is. Because I think we have the highest data consumption in the world. We are almost at 22 GB a day. That's a huge data
Isn't
consumption,
it
right?
incredible for a country like India, which was like completely far away from this reality?
No, it's. I think what Geo has done is it has opened up our country in more ways than one, right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm. Hmm.
that plus the low cost smartphones plus the UPI part. I think this
Hmm.
wholly trifecta revolutionized or changed Bharat for the better, right?
Hmm.
So when I say Bharat, I'm talking about tier two towns, at least
Hmm.
from my perspective. There are, of course, tier three and tier four also from tier two towns. And we're talking about 93 tier two towns with a population of more than 10 lakhs. That would be your Guntur, your Madurai, your Coimbatore, so on and so forth, right?
Right. Right.
So, so yeah, I mean, so this was the genesis, the prominence of the thought as to why there is, see, roti, kapda, makan relationships. These are universal tenets of life, right?
Yes.
So why is it that when it comes to relationships, there isn't anybody really talking to 430 million youngsters in the age group of 18 to 40? I'm saying 18 to 40,
Yes.
with around 200 million in the age group of 18 to 27, 28,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So why isn't that nobody's talking to them,
Hmm.
right? So it seems so obvious, right? I'm sure there was a catch. What is it that what has stopped people from experimenting with this population, especially from a dating category, right? So me and my co-founder, we
Okay.
set out on a tour of India. We
Okay.
traveled around 4,000 kilometers. I mean, it's
Interesting.
like I've traveled by all kinds of trains, right from the
Okay.
Rajdhanis to Garib Raths to sitting in second class and third class, etc. And I have really seen India from a different perspective, in the sense we went to far flung locations for somebody sitting in Bombay and Bangalore and Delhi. But this is normal life for like a whole section of people, right? I mean, to give you
Hmm.
an example, Prayagraj, erstwhile Allahabad, right? It has around 5 lakh students
5 lakh
studying
students. Seriously.
studying in Prayagraj at any given point of time in the year.
Okay.
I
Interesting.
mean, 5 lakh students is like half of entire higher education in Canada,
Imagine.
right?
And
And I challenge you to point Prayagraj to me on the map of India,
I know, I know, I know.
right?
This is
But it is a big center of learning. After Delhi in the north,
hmm,
Prayagraj is the biggest center of learning, right?
hmm, hmm,
And
hmm.
and the funny part is 90% of those 5 lakh students are not from Prayagraj.
Okay,
You know,
interesting. Okay.
yeah, so they come from various parts of UP, like your Sultanpur, like your Varanasi, Bamrauli, from Kanpur, Lucknow, etc. Because
Hmm,
so anybody and everybody, I don't know if you know, but India, especially in the north, there's this huge craze for UPSC and all the state exams, etc. So that is the place for people to learn,
hmm,
right?
hmm, hmm.
For those who can't go to Delhi, the Prayagraj is the place. And out of this 500,000, 200,000 are women. You
Oh,
know,
interesting.
which is
I
which is
didn't know this. It's phenomenal.
which is unheard of. In the
Hmm,
sense, it is unheard of in UP that families send their daughters to Prayagraj to study. At least 10 years back, it was unheard of. You know,
absolutely.
because of the Yogi Adityanath government and the kind of securities that they brought
Hmm,
into the system, and how safe it has become. Like I'm telling you, for me it was a culture shock in a good way, right? Here I thought, oh, because UP is told in a very different manner when it comes to cinema, right? It's all guns and Mirzapur and what you have, right? And here I was in Prayagraj at 9:30 in the night, walking. At civil lines and Chandrasekhar Azad Park, etc. I'm walking and I'm seeing so many youngsters, having dinner at roadside stalls, at a cafe coffee days, and like generally chilling. And it was a nice, it was a warm summer evening. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is like any other city in the country. It's like any other town, right? But you have this entire misconception of the cities up north, which is
I
so
know.
far from reality. So again, this sounds like a extremely privileged take, in the sense I'm a privileged upper caste Brahmin boy who's worked in good companies and sitting in Bangalore, in Bombay, leading a privileged life. But I was very happy and pleasantly surprised to see that Bharat is truly changing, right? And I say it with utmost humility, right? And with a touch of pride, because my country is really changing a lot. And the funny part is, when you go and talk to these youngsters, right, they
Hmm,
are so clued in. They are so clued in about everything that's going on in the world. they will
hmm,
they
hmm,
will give you an entire breakdown of the Israel Palestinian conflict,
Hmm. Hmm.
What is Gaza Strip, what is West Bank, why Hamas is not on West Bank. So I mean, all the nitty-gritties and technicalities, they'll give you a breakdown, except they will speak to you in Hindi, in
Hmm.
Bhojpuri,
Hmm.
in their native language. So language becomes the biggest, how should I say, the biggest line for them, the Lakshman Rekha for them, because they are used to thinking in their language. We are used to thinking in English, you know
Right. Right.
and never the twain shall meet, because what happens is, uh, like, the biggest, for me, in my opinion, in India, the biggest media channel in the country is YouTube. you know
I agree.
so
Agree.
imagine these 500,000 students, they don't have access to television, the traditional television, right?
Hmm.
They spend 8 to 10 hours on their mobile phone. What do you think they do? You know,
Hmm.
and you, I mean, I met certain teachers. I met one young professor from Allahabad University, right, who has 2 million followers on YouTube, 2 million subscribers on YouTube, right?
Incredible.
Yeah, he teaches geography, in Hindi, and I was like, wow, it's I mean, Lullan Top, it is like one of the
Yes.
biggest, I mean, I think it's more powerful than any other mainstream,
News channels.
television news channel, right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
so there is really true that every 100 kilometers in this country there is a separate country,
I
right?
agree.
So
Hmm.
we wanted to validate that. We saw how young women were empowered. We saw how women had absolutely no qualms in speaking out. It's just that they look like, I'll give you one anecdote, right? Here I am, English. I speak in English. I'm a South Indian, so my Hindi is also not so good, right?
Hmm.
So once I started talking to youngsters, they weren't really opening up to me, right?
Okay.
So I said, listen, think of me as Danush from Ranjana. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So I don't know if you've seen that movie. He's a South
Right.
Indian based in
Hmm.
Varanasi, right? So I said, I am Danush from Ranjana. In the sense, my Hindi is not so good. So, but I could still converse with them. And then they
Hmm.
opened up,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So they're naturally, how shall I say, a little wary about people who speak English, right? But once you talk to them in their language, they just open up, right?
Hmm.
So these are all, I mean, they seem obvious, but once you actually get down on the ground and talk to a bunch of youngsters, you realize that language plays a huge role, right? Women are extremely empowered. They
Hmm.
have their own, how shall I say, local people whom they aspire to,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So I'll give an example. I was in Ludhiana, Amritsar, and Bathinda.
Okay.
Okay. And I spoke to 50 young girls. Okay.
Okay.
Young girls in the
Okay.
sense 18 to 25. I spoke to them in college cafeterias. I spoke to them in malls. I spoke to them outside colleges. I spoke to them on the road, etc. Right. And I asked all of them, which actress do they look up to? You
Okay.
know, so I
Okay.
was under the impression they'll say, Deepika Padukone or a Sara Ali Khan or a Janvi Kapoor, etc.
So
Right?
did they say Shahnaz Gill?
No, on the Shanaz Gill would be a good option, but 49 out of 50 of them said they look up to Nimrat Khaira.
Okay.
Okay,
I don't know her.
guilty.
Okay.
Same here. I had no idea who she was. So now I
Okay.
googled her up and I realized she's this amazing singer who's turned into an actress. Right?
Okay.
Extremely simple, clearly very talented. She has
Mm-hmm.
10 million followers on Instagram. Right? Her
Oh,
engagement rates are like 30-40% her engagement rates. So I mean, it's like if she sneezes, entire Punjab and Haryana catches a cold.
okay.
That's the kind
Interesting.
of power that she has. And if
Hmm.
you actually see her profile and the way she dresses, she's so simple, so I mean,
Relatable.
so relatable, so girl next
Hmm.
door, right? And I was
Hmm.
like, wow. I'm glad that, I mean, she's such an amazing celebrity and, an influencer for all these youngsters, right? So there are these pockets everywhere. There are the
Okay.
Nimrat Khairas, there are all these individuals in various states. So that was another thing that we kind of, put our heads and kind of collated all these things. And so yeah, so this was the background, right? So we felt Bharat was ready, right?
Hmm.
We felt that the dopamine of meeting a new person,
Okay.
either for dating or friendship outside of their friend circle. So you have to understand, they don't get an opportunity to meet very many people.
True.
right?
Right.
Because they have the two three friends from their childhood till the time, and they're seen
Yes.
even in the marriage photo also. The same
Yes.
friends
Yes.
are
Yes.
shown.
Right.
So we felt there was an opportunity. It had to be clean, it had to be customized. So we shot like Bhojpuri ads, Punjabi ads, Hindi ads. So we ensured that a lot of customization happened, and we launched. We launched on October 11th, 2022, just about more than a year, and we launched in 5 states.
Okay.
UP, MP, Punjab, Bihar, and Tamil Nadu, because these were states that I was comfortable from a marketing standpoint, because I had traveled extensively in these places. And yeah, I mean, we've crossed 1 million downloads in these 5 states alone, right?
Imagine.
Clearly
That's
there
a
is a,
potential.
yeah, I mean, my top five cities are Lucknow, Agra,
Okay.
Ludhiana, Coimbatore, and Patna.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
no,
incredible.
no Bombay, no Delhi, no Bangalore, no Hyderabad, no Chennai, none of these top 10 cities. So yeah, I mean, Bharat is ready. It is, and again, you have to be customizations is one. Second is micropayments.
Okay.
You cannot have it at 500 rupees per month. You know, one
Hmm.
of one of the biggest success stories that has come out of Bharat is Kuku FM, right? I'm sure you
Right.
must have heard
Cuckoo.
of it,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Very much.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Kuku FM's predominant source of revenue is the 99 rupees per month subscription.
Hmm.
That is
I
what
think
really drives.
I think that's the comfortable ticket size that this audience is ensuring, like, is comfortable, and they wouldn't mind to pay for any service
Yeah.
that they are using.
Yeah, and it's they don't call it subscription, they call it recharge. Again, it goes back to their
Oh.
prepaid days. Everybody has a
Hmm.
prepaid mobile. Very
Right.
few
Right.
people have postpaid, right?
Right. Right.
So anyway, all these were interesting nitty-gritties that we picked up, and we launched, and we are very glad that we launched. Like, I make it a point to travel every month, right, to these
Okay.
places. I realized, I went to Ratlam the other day, and I came to know that Jab We Met was not shot there.
Okay.
It was shot on Mall Road in Shimla. I mean, I don't know if it is true or if it is a rumor, but I felt like my entire adulthood has been a lie. No, but you get to learn a lot of things. Clearly, Bollywood plays a huge role. Clearly, politics plays a huge role.
Hmm.
Religion plays a huge role. And so we have obviously stayed away from religion and politics, because we want to keep it a clean, fun, safe kind of an app.
Hmm.
And so far, so good, Monica.
That's really incredible to know. So, can you tell me what is, ensuring, like, how are you ensuring that you don't get the fake profiles? Because this is something that's very important for the success of a dating app.
No, I would like to address this in three ways, right?
Okay.
First is that fake profiles have been a problem, right?
Okay.
From a very long time. But
Yes.
one good thing is that technology
Hmm.
has developed a lot.
Okay.
Okay. Say a simple thing like, you will get a tick on your profile only if you take a selfie, and the algorithm automatically matches that selfie to the profile picture that you have put.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
you would know immediately if the person is fake or true. So you will not
Hmm.
get a tick. In other
Okay.
words, your chances of being seen in the app will reduce, right?
Okay. Hmm.
So technology has democratized this for almost all the apps. So there's no
Hmm.
issue as
Hmm.
such,
Hmm.
right? Uh, Second thing is that, see, how much ever we try and do this, there will be 4 to 5% of fake profiles.
I agree. Hmm.
Okay. There is nothing that we can do about it. This has been seen across the board, even on Facebook, on Instagram. I mean, look at the
Yes.
number of
Yes. Agree.
fake,
Bots.
fake, fake profiles and what you have on Instagram, and I mean, there's nothing that you can do about it, right? And third, everybody says that we need women for a dating app, right? Actually, we need good men for a dating app. You know,
Okay. This is an interesting, perspective that you are bringing here.
yeah, it seems very counterintuitive. It's just that,
Yes.
see, what happens is women come on dating apps, right? But if there are no men who know how to talk to them, it
Hmm.
becomes challenging for them to stay,
Hmm.
right? So that's another thing that we have consciously, been targeting in our ads, etc. We only look for graduates, postgraduates, those kind of people, because see, at the end of the day, the guy has to treat the girl with kindness and sincerity and warmth, right? And that comes out in the way that person, he or she, or the person chats with the girl, or the girl chats with the guy, right? So
Right.
we have ensured that we got some really good guys on board, right? We did a huge college targeting program, right?
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, so these are two three things in which we try to ensure that fake profiles are less, more meaningful profiles are there, more meaningful conversations happen, etc.
I think, being a woman myself, I can completely relate to this because I speak in my circles also. There are a couple of my friends who are looking for the right partners, even though they are in their early 40s, they still not found the right match. The reason being, they are empowered, they have a voice, they need independence, they need respect. So all these things, when I look at, and the way you said, they go on any matrimony site, or for that matter, even if you look at the dating app, the pool size is small
Yes.
for them to look at. So I think this is an incredible step. The way you are saying that you're looking at increasing the pool size of the male audience on your app, so that the right females get the right males, and the matches are made, and then the engagement is high.
See, what happens also is that dating is a very mature concept in the top 10 cities, right?
I agree.
So like for example, abroad you have dating apps for runners, for yoga enthusiasts, for pet
Hmm.
lovers. That's the kind of segmentation that has gone there, right?
Right, right.
Here in India, you will find 30s, 40s people on dating apps. Those
Hmm.
who are single or separated, or those who have not married, so on and so forth.
Right.
In the case of my app till now, maybe because we are relatively short lived, in the sense we've just been around for a year, 90% of our profiles are in the 18 to 24 age group.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's an interesting thing.
Yeah. So I see what happens is, these are things, nuggets that we got when we went and spoke to youngsters, is that every youngster in a tier 2 town knows they will get married.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Anybody above the age of 25, especially a girl who is not married, matlab, there is something wrong, that at
Yes.
least the perception that is there.
Hmm.
So for these youngsters, this is their, how should I say, last chance to have fun,
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
meet somebody interesting, to get to know new people, etc., etc.,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
So, like I'll give you an example. This not this year, last New Year when we launched, right? From Madurai, one trekker reached out to us. Okay,
Okay.
so he was a student. Madurai, I don't know if you know, it's near Kodaikanal, and there are a
I
lot of
know.
hills
Yeah.
that cover.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
It's a beautiful place. Yes.
yeah. So, and he wanted to basically go for a trekking expedition around New Year's, right?
Hmm. Okay.
And he asked us, because he's alone and he's lonely, and he said, can you create like a trekking event,
Okay.
concentrating around Madurai, Coimbatore, the Tuticorin, Tirunelveli, etc. We
Hmm.
said,
Hmm.
okay,
Hmm.
we will do that. So within the app, we created that particular interest based event, right? 350 people signed up.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
30% were women, you know
Oh, okay.
yeah,
That's
and this
that.
was done at like on the 27th of December for 31st December, right? And
Oh.
we had just launched in Tamil Nadu. So clearly there were a lot of lonely people,
Hmm. Hmm.
you know.
Hmm. Hmm.
See, people say, like in tier 2 towns, they look at depression as अरे अमीर लोगों की problem है, you know.
Yes.
वो
Yes.
वो सिर्फ दीपिका पादुकोण को होती है, ये
हाँ,
सब
बिल्कुल.
ये अमीर लोगों की चोचले हैं, that's how
हाँ,
they
that's how
say it,
they
right?
kind of, yes. हाँ, बिल्कुल.
Yeah, but it is very much there. I mean, they don't call it depression, they call it loneliness, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
There are a
Hmm.
lot of lonely people out there, right? And so it was an interest based matching. They just wanted to be around somebody around New Year's, right? So so these are all small things, small experiments that we carried out, which kind of reinforced the fact that we are doing something right, right? And so yeah, so That's the long and short of it.
Yes, that is incredible. So, did this kind of, give you some insight that you need to create your proprietary product based on the local search?
Sure. I mean, it's a given. I mean, like for example, you cannot see profiles more than 100 kilometers.
Right,
You know,
right,
so you
right.
cannot date if you're in Madurai, you cannot date somebody in Patna, you know,
Hmm.
and vice
Hmm.
versa, right?
You're right.
So these are things which are there across all apps, right?
Hmm.
This is not dating has always been a hyper local activity,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
mean, then it'll be called long distance relationship, and nobody wants
Yes,
that. Okay,
yes,
the
absolutely.
whole point is to chat and meet and and get to know each other, right?
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
So that has always been there, but there were certain other challenges that we faced,
Okay,
you know, if I may. One of the challenges that we faced is that people are matching, but they really don't know how to chat with each other,
okay, okay.
you know. So Monica, I got married 10 years back. No, if I am supposed to randomly chat up a girl, I wouldn't know how to do it.
I agree, I agree.
My wife believes my conversation skills are so bad I wouldn't know how to do it even before marriage. That's a different story. But the point I'm trying to say is that uh, Indians are, or at least in tier two towns, they really don't have the experience or the knowledge of how to chat with somebody.
Okay.
You know,
Hmm. I
so it
agree.
usually start kaise hain aap, अच्छी लग रही हो, so on and so
Hmm.
forth. But the banter doesn't go beyond that. you know
Hmm. Hmm.
for meaningful conversations to happen, like for example, maybe uh, in a in a metro dating kind of a scenario, you may talk about the latest season of Game of Thrones, or the Friends, the reboot of Friends. These are all conversation starters, right? Or you
Hmm.
will talk about how Arsenal is top of the table, or well, it's not top of the table, but top of the table, etc., right? So these are all conversation starters. And for them, they find it a little bit of a struggle, to kind of because see, obviously you cannot start off with politics and religion, etc., right? You would
Yes.
want the things that kind of are deeply embedded in them is primarily music,
Hmm.
movies and food. you know these are the three. So what we are doing now is, as the new phase, right? Hi Hello 2.0, we're introducing gaming, because gaming is a language that a lot of youngsters understand. So that's an area that we are exploring. We've not launched yet, but we feel that 66% of gamers in India come from tier 2 towns.
That's
So
another interesting number to look at.
yeah,
66%.
yeah,
Wow.
I mean, see, because again, if I may segue a bit, I am a gamer myself. I mean, I'm not a professional esports gamer, but I'm a gamer who is an hobbyist, right?
Okay.
Uh, so, I mean, you don't call somebody who goes and watches movies as, are you a movie buff? Are you a movieer? You call
Hmm.
gamers gamers, right?
Hmm.
So, and I have played arcade, I have played console, I have played PCs. India is 98% mobile. you know
98. Yes.
98% India is mobile, because console games is a huge entry barrier. It's extremely expensive, right? I mean,
I agree.
a PS5 currently costs around 45,000 rupees, right?
Hmm.
Very
Hmm.
few people can afford that, right? And a lot of people are clearly mobile gamers,
I
right?
agree.
So
Hmm.
casual gaming has taken off.
Hmm.
And what it has done in the process is it has enlarged the demographic. So it is just not men. Predominantly, games were always considered as men stroke boys, but even women stroke girls have started playing games, right? I mean, 60% of casual gamers in India are women.
I
You
agree.
know,
My cousins, all my young women cousins are gamers. So I
yeah,
was
they are.
surprised.
I mean, they are into Candy Crush, your Royal
Yes.
Match, your Subway Surfer, your Ludo, so on and so forth.
Hmm. Hmm.
Snakes and Ladders. They're not into Free Fire or BGMI, etc., because those are first-person shooter games, which are more men-centric, if I may say, right? So they understand the language of gaming.
Hmm.
Gaming cuts across age groups.
I agree.
I don't know if you know, but the biggest game category amongst the older generation is the hidden objects genre.
Okay.
So basically it's like an Agatha Christie mystery, where there is a room, and you're supposed to point out the hidden objects
Okay.
which are very much in front of you, but you have to like really deduct, you have to kind of be really, you have to like watch carefully, and and kind of find out, right? So yeah, I mean, so gaming cuts across age groups, right? Gaming cuts across demographics. In India, as opposed to the West, it's predominantly mobile, right? Predominantly tier 2. Like, I mean, some of the biggest gamers in our country, there is a young 20-year-old boy called Techno Gamers. His name is Ujjwal Chaurasia. He has around 20 million odd subscribers on YouTube.
Okay.
And what
Incredible.
does he do? He plays GTA, Grand Theft Auto, and at
Okay.
any time, and when he goes online, there are 800,000 people watching him. Monica, those numbers are staggering.
Staggering, seriously.
It's just that maybe adults don't play games in the country, so they are not aware. You know, they're not aware as gaming is bigger than movies, music, TV rights, OTT, everything put together.
Hmm.
Worldwide, right? So I think India is on the cusp of a great gaming decade, and it's already seeing a lot of action and traction, etc. And we thought dating and games are like fun and games, right? They're complementary to each other. So we are kind of experimenting on that. Yeah.
Okay, so that's how you're trying to customize your app, create more
Engagement.
interest, more
Engagement.
engagement, more interest points for the audience. Because
Yeah.
looking at the profile that you shared with us, like you have very young profile on your app.
Yeah. That's right.
So
Yeah.
obviously their interests would be different if we look at their patterns and their consumption patterns basically. So uh, that's the reason you're trying to customize it further and adding various
That's right.
dimensions like gaming, etc.
That's correct.
So what were the initial challenges that you faced to build traction for your app? Because 1
So
million is a big number. So when I'm looking at it, so I'm sure something has worked brilliantly other than the things that we discussed. Something at a grassroots level or at the back end level has worked phenomenally well, which has helped you to reach to this level. There would be some challenges that you faced initially.
So I would say I am an expert in content marketing. As in
Okay.
me and my team, we are an expert in content marketing. So I have a fantastic performance marketing team, right?
Okay. Great.
So Google and Meta is obviously well entrenched. As I told you, YouTube is like the biggest media channel in the
Yes.
country, right?
Yes.
But again, some of the mistakes that founders make, and this is
Hmm.
something that I have noticed time and again, is that a lot of founders are operationally very good,
Hmm.
but they don't know how to tell a story.
Hmm. I
They're
agree.
not great storytellers,
I
right?
agree.
See, I am a hardcore B2C brand.
Hmm.
Okay. I have no supply chain, I have no factory, I have no logistics, nothing. my
Right.
team my team strength is six people.
Oh, incredible. Six
That's it.
people.
Yeah, my team strength is six people, and maximum I will hire is around eight. That's it,
Hmm. Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
extremely easy to launch. I mean, I can currently launch Hi Hello in Bangladesh
Hmm.
in a week's time with $5,000.
Wow.
Yeah,
Incredible.
that's
Hmm.
it. In a week's time, I can launch. I can launch across the world, sitting in Bombay, where I'm based. With absolutely no need for me to set up anything offline. You know,
Hmm.
we are a pure tech app,
Hmm.
right? And we are easily and eminently scalable, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
But I think the bigger thing is we are also, I would like to believe, going by the record that we have, right? We are also extremely good storytellers,
I
right?
agree. Hmm.
My cost per install is around 2.3 rupees.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
incredible.
that is lower than even gaming apps.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
know,
Hmm.
like my cost per acquisition for a D2C brand for a product is around 500 rupees, right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
obviously, dating is different, right? But even then, in that space, we are doing reasonably well, because you have to understand, we have not hit that where we become a verb.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm. Hmm.
Tindering is a verb.
Hmm.
You know, being on Tinder is almost like, let's Tinder, kind of
Right,
a thing,
right,
right?
right,
So chalo hi hello karte hain. We want to be a verb,
right,
right? But it'll take time because you just started off. So you have to spend, but you have to spend. Anybody can spend, right? Everybody has money to spend.
right,
The thing is, you have to do it in a way. Uh, as I said, it has to. You cannot have a one size fits all,
right, right.
right? I'll give you an example. I'll give you two ads. Okay, maybe I'll share them and maybe you can play them in your recording or
Yes.
whatever later, right? So one ad, there was a girl. It's a Bhojpuri ad that we did, where there is a girl saying that मैं थोड़ी अम्मा बाबू के इशारों पे नाचूंगी. I want to find somebody of my own.
Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm. Hmm.
so that ad got a lot of traction, but out of 1,000 comments, 500 comments were negative.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, because we are talking about UP, MP, etc. Whether how can you talk about your mother and father like that?
Hmm. I agree. I
Okay,
agree.
okay. Lesson learned. Fair enough, right? So we did one Punjabi ad.
Hmm.
Okay, in the Punjabi ad, the girl is like, I don't want to go to Canada and Australia. You know, I think Punjab is a great place, and I'm sure I will meet somebody very interesting in Punjab because
Hmm.
Punjab is my motherland. You know,
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
that ad out of 1,000 comments, 999 comments were positive
Wonderful. Hmm.
because she invoked nationalism, she invoked
Hmm.
pride, she invoked
Hmm.
pride in her roots, etc. You know,
Hmm. Hmm.
for her identity is not because she's from Canada or New Zealand or Australia, but she is from India, from Punjab, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Hmm.
these are all things that you learn on the way.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
what to play, what not to play. How do you kind of play with the audience senses, etc. So in my product, there's only marketing and tech. There's nothing else.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
70% is marketing, 30% is tech, right?
Understood.
So this marketing plays the most pivotal role, right? So our choice of influencers, we only choose influencers who have more than 50% female followers.
Okay. Interesting. Mhm.
We do not choose good looking women
Okay. So the reason be what was the reason? Why average looking females?
because
Relatability?
good looking women have 90% male followers.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You
Understood.
know, so
Mm-hmm.
we choose chefs.
Okay.
You'll be surprised. Chefs have almost 70-80% female followers.
Yeah.
You know, so
Right.
right. So we choose a single boy next. Like for example, my ideal brand ambassador, if you're hearing this, is Jeetu Bhaiya from Kota Factory.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
he's my
Okay.
ideal brand ambassador because
Mm.
he's single, and he's got a huge how shall I say acceptance amongst Bharat,
Hmm.
right? So
Agreed.
it's not Kartik Aaryan or Rajkumar Rao, etc. I'm talking about a Jeetu Bhaiya.
Hmm. Hmm.
I'm
Hmm.
talking about a Nimrat Khaira.
Hmm.
She would be my ideal brand ambassador.
Hmm. Hmm.
Right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Obviously, she's very expensive, so we've not approached her. But if we get funding, my first port of call would be Nimrat Khaira.
Hmm.
Right? No, so what I'm trying to say is, so you need to understand regional nuances. You need to really customize your storytelling, right? So our choice of influencers, our choice of ads. So we shot an ad in Telugu. Okay, this
Okay.
is primarily based on a conversation I've had with a student in Guntur. Okay,
Okay.
so
Okay.
Guntur is now part of Andhra because the Andhra Telangana thing happened. So Guntur is now part
Hmm.
of Andhra. I'm
Hmm.
I'm Telugu. I'm Telugu myself. I'm from Vishakhapatnam. Okay, so I was born
Okay.
in Tenali, which is close to Guntur. So Guntur has a lot of colleges. So I met one young kid, and that youngster was telling me about the Marvel multiverse. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
and I am like, hey, wait a minute. How do you know? He said he saw the entire all the Marvel films in
Hmm.
Telugu.
Okay. And
So he saw
yes.
the Telugu dubbed version,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Here
Hmm.
you think that only I know about Endgame. I know about
Hmm. Hmm.
how everybody is related and connected and what you have. And here is a guy. So that's the thing. They know about Sophie Turner, who is the the sister-in-law of ex-sister-in-law of Priyanka Chopra. She was Sansa Stark in Game of Thrones. But but they will talk about that in Bhojpuri, in Hindi,
Right.
Telugu.
Hmm.
So language, as I said, plays a huge role. So we took that particular detail and created an ad,
Hmm.
about how now he's more he's in Hyderabad working in a IT company, and he's more acceptable because he knows the entire Marvel this thing, and how he's looking for somebody who has the same kind of interest as him. you know
Right, right, right.
so these are all insights that we got when we went and we did our due diligence, right? And so of course it's not been easy, right? Luckily, our platform is extremely clean, right? So again, technology has made it possible. Anybody who has a shirtless photo or anything, in 5 seconds it'll automatically get deleted. So
Okay.
these are, you cannot take screenshots
Hmm.
of the profile. So these are all various things that we have introduced from a product point of view,
Hmm.
and so far so good. I mean, my challenge would be to obviously extend this to various other parts of the country, right?
Hmm.
There are 28 states.
Yes.
There are 22 official languages, right? I am currently in 5 states. So there's an entire Bharat to be explored, right?
Yes.
Bangladesh has 99% Bangla people, right?
Hmm.
Sri Lanka has 25% Tamilians.
Hmm.
The Middle East is a hotbed of Malayalis and whatnot, right? So there is enough and more to be explored. The sheer numbers act in our favor, right? So with micropayments, so my lowest subscription is 99 rupees, right? We are only a subscription product. There is no advertising, right?
Okay.
So 99 rupees subscription, customization, the sheer volume. So we think that there is a lot of room for us to grow, right? And we are still in our early stages yet. Yeah,
Wow, interesting. So you are a funded startup. I understand that.
that's correct. Yeah. So we raised around $300,000 before we even launched, right?
Okay, that's
And
interesting.
yeah, I mean, luckily we found some really good partners, right? Like for example, one of our early investors is Apramaya and Mayank from Koo, the
Oh,
micro blogging, yeah, app. Yeah.
yes.
So it was just like a 30-minute pitch, and when I was talking to them about Bharat, they're like, hey, wait a minute, this is my
Yes.
pitch.
This is my
He
pitch.
also
I know. Right, 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 right.
the CEO of Beardo, again, the minute I said Bharat, he's like, so anybody who's built for Bharat,
Hmm.
right? Who understands Bharat, who's been to Bharat, right?
Hmm.
They,
Hmm. Hmm.
they immediately understood what I was talking about, right?
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
We
Hmm.
got an institutional investor in place,
Wow.
right? Yeah, like, so we've had our financial due diligence, our legal due diligence. So all the numbers that I'm saying are actually factually correct, right? Because I have to submit reports every month.
Yes,
So there is like
absolutely.
proper diligence that happens. So nothing is fixed or or anything like that, right? So again, we are a new company.
Hmm.
Don't Monica, from the way I've spoken till now, you may think that I mean, we are just at like what, less than around $70,000 in revenue overall,
Okay.
right?
Okay. Hmm.
Considering the amount that we raised, it is still a good it's a good number, but there is
Hmm.
a lot of scope to grow.
I
Okay,
agree.
we have not hit 1 million or anything like that, right? We are still growing, and we think it's just a matter of time, before we go all guns blazing. Yeah,
Super interesting to know that, even before launch, someone found your product so incredible, and the investors found that this has meat and they could relate to it and they invested. And that's how the story is reaching new heights. The brand is reaching new heights. So, why Hi Hello? So, this is something that we would like to understand from you.
so it's a very common phrase that is used in across the country. In fact, it's not about tier 1, tier 2 or anything like that. It's about chalo hi hello karte hain, you know
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
So we wanted to keep it colloquial. We
Hmm.
wanted to keep it language agnostic, in the sense
Hmm.
anybody and everybody in any language will understand, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Not just English speaking people. It can also be used. abroad, it can be used in India, it can be used in Madhubani suburb, Madhubani district of Bihar, to Tirunelveli and Tuticorin. So anybody and everybody can understand that phrase, that word, right? So we wanted to keep it colloquial, simple, language agnostic, and it's a very commonly used phrase. So I said, why not?
Yes. And
चलो
it's
हाय लो करते हैं.
and it's expandable, right?
Yeah, चलो हाय लो करते हैं, and
Mm.
so it really worked for us. And yeah, so again, the reason why these partners came on board is also our courage of conviction. See, you have to understand that that 4 to 5 month trip that we did,
Yeah, that was stepping stone in this entire journey, because you had the real insights to share with them, and that's how you could convince them, and the conviction that you had was
yeah,
incredible.
it's just not some EY secondary report, that we kind of show to them. Yeah. So these things worked in our favor. Yes.
Yes. I have also traveled through the length and breadth of the country because I was heading a mass brand. So when you said this interesting thing of Allahabad, oh, I was just remembering when I visited Allahabad in 2009 or 10, it was a
It was
different Allahabad.
it was Allahabad, then now it's Prayagraj. Yeah, but
Yeah, yeah. So now that was Allahabad, and now it's Prayagraj. So if this is the difference that you're seeing
yeah,
in India. So look at the aspirations,
you can
right?
imagine. Yeah.
Yes, yes, it's
And,
incredible.
people are so clued in, the problem is there is a caste and class angle,
Hmm,
right?
hmm,
We are
hmm,
just
hmm,
so caught up in our own lives, in our own worlds, right?
hmm.
We
Right.
tend to look at them as people who are not aware, who are, who don't know stuff, so I think it's a caste and class prejudice that we have, right?
Hmm, 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 hmm.
People in Bharat are as clued in, as knowledgeable, as smart, as hardworking, as in, like, I'll give you an example. One of my front end developer, he comes from Madhubani district of Bihar, right?
Hmm.
Another
Imagine.
another developer who comes from Darbhanga, right?
Interesting.
Yeah, one of my content creative writer, he's from that Sirsa. It is on the border of Haryana and Punjab.
Yes, 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 Sisa.
The Ram Rahim,
Yes,
that
yes, yes.
thing that happened. So he's from Sirsa, right?
Hmm.
And he writes eloquent Punjabi, right? So I mean, we have hired only people who come from these from small towns,
It's a
right?
deliberate attempt so that
Yeah,
they
it's a deliberate
understand the
attempt.
nuances.
Yeah,
Hmm,
like,
hmm,
and like, I remember speaking to my creative content head, and I said, before we hired him, to actually write one script. He was the one who came up with this nationalism script for that Punjabi ad, right?
hmm,
Which
hmm.
is doing wonders for us. He's a poet, right? Like,
Right.
I'll tell you, when I was in Prayagraj, I went to Kavi Sammelans,
Okay. Okay.
right? Kavi Sammelans, on an average, will host around 3-4 thousand people. 80% were women.
Wow.
Yeah, and this was a Kavi Sammelan on
Hmm,
love and friendship, right?
hmm, hmm.
It was not a political Kavi Sammelan. It was more a love and friendship, poetry kind of a Kavi Sammelan in the actual sense, right? 80% were women,
Wow.
and
Hmm,
this was Kumar Vishwas. He's a poet, you know.
hmm, 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 hmm.
So Manoj Muntashir has a huge following in UP, right? Leaving aside his Adipurush debacle, but in my opinion, he's a phenomenal poetry writer. He's a
Right.
lyricist. People know him as a lyricist. He's a very good
Right.
lyricist also, but I think he's an amazing poet, right? So, so I mean, there are these things that are very much part of the cultural fabric of Bharat, which people in the metro are not aware of. You know,
True.
you would know you would know about political happenings in the US. You wouldn't know, like, when I went to UP, I was in UP in from February, March, and April last year.
Hmm, hmm,
2000,
hmm.
sorry, not last year, 2022. This is 24 Jan, 2022, February, March. That was when the UP elections were happening, the seven-phase election. Word on the street, I mean, if you keep your ears to the ground, you know for a fact that Yogi Adityanath was going to win. Because
Hmm.
a lot of women, see, women are the driving force everywhere.
Absolutely agree.
Women are
Right.
the driving force everywhere. It's not men. a lot of women were very clear, about why they wanted to vote for Yogi ji. So
Hmm.
what okay, I'm politically neutral, but what I'm trying to say is, so these are things that you would know once you go out there. Here you're sitting and saying, oh, the brand of Hindutva doesn't work, so on. See, that's all theoretical, right?
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So my submission to people is, don't misunderstand Bharat.
Yes.
Don't underestimate Bharat, right? And get out of your comfort zone. Stop writing reports. Stop listening to. I know it's ironical. Stop listening to international podcasts. And think that the world is based on that, right? Actually, get on. Like, one of the habits that I have is, every month I go to one town. In
Hmm.
a like other day, as I said, I was in Ratlam. Before that, I was in Bokaro and Ranchi in Jharkhand. So
Hmm.
I make it a point to visit, to understand what happens, what is sticking there, who are the regional influencers they're looking up to, who are the people with the most engagement, what is actually working. So you'll be surprised, hoardings and print really work,
Yes.
in tier two towns. The other day
Mhm.
I was in Cochin. If you go beyond Cochin, right? If you go to Kottayam, Thrissur, Malayalam Manorama is like huge.
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 Absolutely.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I mean, we just tend to discount these things. Print is dying. Yeah, I'm sure at a broad level, yes, advertising spends, but print, for some reason, print and television are flourishing in India. Though the rate of growth is going down, as opposed to the West, print is still flourishing in India,
Hmm.
because the CPMs for digital advertising in tier two towns is very less, right? But
Agreed.
prints, Dainik Jagran and Dainik Bhaskar are like behemoths.
Yes.
They're like amazing. Malayalam Manorama, the Sakal in Maharashtra. So yeah, I mean, we need to just get out of our English mindsets, our thinking in English. It's not New York Times and Wall Street Journal.
Sure. Uh,
There's more to India. Yeah,
there's more to India, and that's the reason we see all these interesting apps like yours creating waves in the country and
it's too
realizing the
early.
true potential,
It's
realizing the true potential of Bharat.
it's too early to say waves and all, but we feel that we are onto something, right? How
Mm-hmm.
it will pan out, only the future can say. But we are very confident. We see a resurgent Bharat. We see a resurgent young India, right? Who have absolutely no qualms being out there. Everybody said, women will not come on apps. That's not true at all, right? So yeah, I mean, touch wood, we are extremely confident about the app. Yeah.
So, how did you feel when you left your high-paying job, and what was your family's reaction, and how did you deal with your withdrawal symptoms?
No, so I always had an entrepreneurial bug, right?
Okay,
Uh, uh, some 10 years back, I started one ad film production house, right?
okay,
Uh,
interesting.
that didn't really do well, and I had to shut it down. So I think I would say that there comes a point in life where you want to be the purveyor of your own dreams, the master of your own destiny, etc. But I think more importantly, you want to stay relevant,
Hmm.
right? When
Hmm.
you work in siloed operations in companies, right, you become irrelevant,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Irrelevant in the larger scheme of things.
Right, right.
Now here I am in tech, I am in product, I am in marketing. So I've even learned coding,
Wow.
to kind of get a sense of what my developers are talking to me about. So I'm seeing a broad, how shall I say, a broad acceptance or broad experimentation of my capabilities, right? And for me, that's invigorating. Every day you wake up with a new challenge, right? I've started gaming. I used to play games quite a lot, but marriage and kids, I've not really. So my kids come into my room and say, "What kind of a job do you have?" They're very young, right? Why are you playing game? Why are you playing games all day? I mean, please tell me what job this is. So they're five and seven, so they're too young to
Mhm.
understand. But
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, I'm
The-
exploring new facets of myself every day, and I think that's like the biggest reward that you get from being a founder.
Right, right. So, tell me something about your learnings as a student, learnings as an employee, and learnings as an entrepreneur.
Student, see, honestly, I'll tell you, Monica, I may have touched upon this a bit before. I come from, as I said, a very privileged upper caste Brahmin
Hmm,
background. You know,
hmm, hmm.
in fact, I was sitting with my mom the other day, and I realized that 5 generations of my family have been graduates and have been employed.
Imagine.
Imagine, right? I mean, we're talking about the 19th century onwards, right?
Right,
And here we see so many people in this country who even like the first generation, they don't even have one generation to look back on,
right,
right?
right, right.
So in that sense, I've been extremely privileged. I went to the right convent schools. you know
Hmm.
I've had a fairly eclectic exposure in my childhood, right? We stayed abroad, and I used to play Atari video games on my Atari, with those cartridges, and I used to play Pac-Man and stuff, which very few people have access to. I used to
Right.
read I used to read PG Woodhouse, stuff like that while growing up, right? So growing up has been amazing. Then I passed out of the right business school. I had the right jobs. So all that has been like I mean, I never acknowledged caste and class in my life,
Hmm.
because I never had to. My peers were all like me. They
Hmm.
looked like me, they spoke like me, they dressed like me, they talk like me. So I never really understood what Bharat was,
Understood.
and I mean, and I say this with utmost humility, in the sense, I was an extremely privileged child, right? Of the modern India that took off. And now I'm really excited to see the new version of India, the Bharat that is taking off, right? So as an employee also, as I said, I worked in the right organizations, but again, I always felt that there was only that much growth that is there.
Right,
It
right,
can be very professional careers can be very limiting unless
right.
there's huge scope for experimentation, etc. Right? And so I said, let me try this out as an entrepreneur. And as I said, when I meet these youngsters, when I meet a broad section of society, I love traveling and I love speaking to people, right? I mean, I'm not talking, you don't have to go to Bihar, right? If you're in Bombay, go to Vasai Virar.
Right. Hmm. Hmm.
Go beyond Borivali.
Hmm. Hmm.
Everybody in Bombay, or at least all my peers are in that entire Bandra Andheri stretch, or South Bombay, Bandra Andheri. That's not Bombay. Go to Panvel, go to Vasai Virar. I mean, go to Badlapur. Badlapur is just not a very good movie. It's also a suburb where there are 9 lakh individuals who stay. You know,
Right. Hmm.
so I mean, it's there everywhere. Uh, there is India and there is Bharat. There is also a Bharat in India. If you
Hmm.
if you go beyond Andheri and all, there is a Bharat in India. In fact,
Absolutely.
if you go beyond your high-rise apartment, there is a Bharat,
Agreed.
right?
Hmm.
Right.
Hmm.
I stay in this suburb called Mulund, right? I have next to me is one of the largest slums in the Bhandup area. It houses around 10 lakh individuals.
Imagine. Hmm.
Can you
Yeah.
imagine, right?
Right.
That's a lot of people, right?
Okay.
So just that's the thing about being an entrepreneur. It just you question everything. You become naturally curious. You question
Hmm.
everything, and my introvertedness is completely gone. I just love talking to people now, and in a good way. Yeah, it has helped me. Yeah.
What keeps you going?
What keeps me going? The fact that I learn something new every day, right? And like I keep telling my wife, that we should not limit ourselves only to our kids. We should keep doing something or the other. We should not become like our parents. Remember,
Hmm.
our parents, they stuck with one job, and their only reason for existence were their kids.
Absolutely agree.
And now when those kids are flourishing, the parents feel left out.
Yeah, vacuum.
Yeah,
Yes.
because they've never been able to have another hobby or create another pursuit or anything like that. Their
Hmm.
entire reason for existence are their kids, right?
Hmm.
I keep telling them, that's why now I'm into gaming. You know,
Hmm.
I've decided to learn a foreign language.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
uh, I've decided to learn a musical instrument, stuff like that, right? I mean, again, very privileged choices, but just to keep the fire burning, I've decided to travel more within the country, more
Mm-hmm.
than what I'm doing, visit more places, go to the northeast, or go to interior Karnataka, which is a completely different world altogether, which I've not been to, I've never been to interior Karnataka, so to speak, right? So there's so much to explore. Let's see.
Right. So, what's your message for the budding entrepreneurs?
Be a very good storyteller. You know,
Okay.
operation. Everybody is hardworking. Everybody is operationally good, right? But if you're not able to articulate a story as to why you're doing what you're doing and what keeps you going, etc., then it becomes very difficult, not only from an investor pitch point of view, but also to convince your customer, right? A lot of people I see, there is so much inefficiencies in the way they market, in the way they do their marketing on Google or Meta or whatever, because they really don't know how to tell a story. You know,
Interesting. Yeah, I agree. I think storytelling is very crucial. It makes or breaks your brand.
yeah, whatever you might say, AI is coming, going, all that is immaterial. Human beings are the only ones capable of creating stories. We
Absolutely.
are naturally born storytellers. No technology can ever circumvent that, right? And I think we should take pride in it, and I think we should use it to the best possible way.
Wonderful. So here comes the last section of our, conversation today. So if I may ask you to give quirky or opposites to these, so what would these be? So relation.
I really suck at these things. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So relation,
Relation. I would say friends, friendship.
fixed, fixed,
Oh, nothing is fixed. Everything is variable. Everything has shades of gray. There's no black or white.
money.
Money gives you choice. Money gives you freedom. You know, and always remember everything. Everybody says pursuit of money is unhealthy, etc. It's not about that. I think pursuit of healthy is good. Pursuit of money is good and healthy, primarily because it gives you the freedom to choose.
Interesting. Challenges.
Every day is a challenge. I mean, challenges are for my maid who works 12 hours a day, and and she has two children who are sitting at home all day, without any parental guidance. That is a challenge. I mean, we lead fairly comfortable lives, trust me. There are a lot of people struggling, a lot of people with a lot of challenges. So be happy. Most importantly, be healthy. Money will come and go, as I said, but the most important thing is health, good health.
Freedom.
Freedom is your ability to have a choice. you know it's about choice. Freedom is all about choice. It's about whether I have the freedom to become an entrepreneur. Yes, because I had the choice to become an entrepreneur.
Wow. Thank you so much, Sham. It was incredible having you on this platform and having such incredible conversation on a topic which is very close to Bharat, because Bharat is changing, Bharat is emerging, and Bharat is taking the whole world by surprise. I think this is such a lovely conversation. I learned so much about Bharat, even though I have traveled through the length and breadth of this country, but your perspective was fresh. It had a lot of insight, and it made us to think and respect Bharat.
Oh, that's very generous of you, Monica. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much.